Raja Ampat, a marine paradise in southwest Papua, Indonesia, faces a severe threat from nickel mining activities. This region, renowned as one of the world's richest marine ecosystems, is home to over 1,500 fish species and 600 types of coral reefs. The recent surge in nickel mining on surrounding small islands raises grave concerns for environmental sustainability and the livelihoods of local communities. The mining issue in Raja Ampat doesn't just spark ecological and social worries. It also draws attention from various groups, including the Buddhist community. They view this problem through the lens of Buddhist teachings on environmental preservation, Ahimsa, nonviolence, compassion, and morality, Sila, particularly the first and second precepts. Let's explore how these Buddhist principles inform their perspective on mining and human responsibility in safeguarding nature. At the core of Buddhist teaching is Ahimsa, or nonviolence. The first precept of the Pancasila Buddhists, Panadipata Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami, means, I undertake the training rule to abstain from taking life. This principle extends to all beings, humans, animals, insects, and even the ecosystems that sustain them. Mining activities in Raja Ampat, such as deforestation, soil degradation, and water pollution, directly threaten habitats and cause the death of countless living beings. From the perspective of the first precept, these actions are contrary to the fundamental commitment to avoid violence and harm to life. Buddhist teachings also emphasize compassion, karuna, and loving kindness, metta. The Karanya Metta Sutta instructs us to cultivate the thought, may all beings be happy. Destroying the environment through mining leads to widespread suffering. Fish and corals die, wildlife loses its home, and local communities face disrupted livelihoods. Such actions causing mass suffering are clearly at odds with the Buddhist spirit of compassion. Even the Buddha's own concern for nature is reflected in a parable from the Dhammapada. As a bee collects nectar without harming the flower, so let the wise person dwell in the world. This teaches wise utilization of nature without causing harm. Exploitative mining, by digging up land and polluting water, directly contradicts this wisdom. Furthermore, Buddhist monastic discipline, Vinaya, contains strict environmental rules. The Buddha stipulated that a monk who causes damage to plants is deemed guilty. The Patimokkha rules forbid monks from cutting down trees, polluting water, burning waste, or digging earth without urgent need. Gautama Buddha and his disciples did not destroy seeds that could grow or damage plants, Di 5. Moreover, during the rainy season, Vasa, monks avoided travel to prevent stepping on young plants or disturbing small animals that emerge after rain, Vin Rishin, 137. All of this demonstrates that Buddhist teachings, dating back thousands of years, have prioritized ecosystem preservation. The second precept, Adinadana Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami, is the prohibition against stealing. In an environmental context, this can be interpreted as a prohibition against excessive exploitation of nature, which is a form of greed and theft of the rights of other beings or future generations to a healthy environment. Mining is often driven by greed, lobha, one of the root causes of suffering, dukkha, in Buddhist teachings. Actions motivated by greed lead to negative consequences. Exploiting valuable minerals in Raja Ampat for short-term profit can be seen as avarice that disregards ecological balance and the welfare of other beings. The second precept reminds humans not to take more than what is needed and to respect the rights of all parties, including nature and local communities. Buddhist teachings encourage contentment, santute, and a simple life. A wise person achieves great success by using minimal resources, just as one's breath can turn a small flame into a large fire. Ja. 1, 2, 3. This aligns with the concept of Buddhist economics, as developed by thinkers like Prayut Payutto, which emphasizes sustainable and ethical consumption and resource exploitation. Greedy and destructive mining practices clearly contradict the spirit of the second precept. Buddhist teachings present the concept of pratatya samutpada, or interdependence. All phenomena and living beings are interconnected in a web of life. Harm to nature will ultimately lead to human suffering itself. This concept fosters the awareness that preserving nature is as crucial as preserving the well-being of all beings, including ourselves. Civilization requires the utilization of available natural resources, but humans should not act like parasites. We should strive to restore the natural resources we have used. Thich Nhat Hanh explains that humans are an integral part of the cosmos. We and the trees are interare, and the world is our larger self. Environmental damage, therefore, is essentially harming ourselves. Recognizing this interconnectedness, Buddhist teachings encourage moral responsibility towards nature. If all beings in the environment are interconnected, humans have a duty to maintain ecosystem harmony for the common good. Preserving nature is a form of virtue, in line with the teachings not to do evil, however small, and to always do good. Dhammapada 183. Buddhists translate this responsibility into concrete actions. Theravada tradition encourages planting and caring for forests. The Buddha praised those who plant trees because they benefit many beings. Samyutta Nikaya, SN 1.47. In Indonesia, tree planting has become part of Vesak rituals, symbolizing environmental care. The Directorate General of Buddhist Affairs of the Ministry of Religious Affairs, Kemenag RA, even launched an Eco-Theology movement in 2025, planting Bodhi and Sala trees as a spiritual awareness of the importance of environmental preservation. This shows that caring for nature is considered equivalent to spiritual practice in Buddhism. Forests are vital natural resources and hold a special place in Buddhism. Forests are not only the lungs of the world and a source of raw materials, but also pleasant places for meditation for ascetics seeking solitude. DHB 99. Therefore, maintaining forest preservation is of paramount importance. Many Buddhist communities are actively involved in environmental conservation. The Tsuchi Foundation conducts reforestation and recycling, teaching younger generations to love the earth. In Thailand, Eco Sangha monks perform tree ordinations to prevent illegal logging, protecting trees as symbols of life. In Myanmar, monks even led peaceful protests against mining that damaged the environment and sacred sites. This demonstrates the strong moral responsibility to defend nature's preservation within Buddhist communities worldwide. Even during the rainy season, Vasa, monks avoid travel to prevent stepping on young plants or disturbing small animals that emerge after rain. Vin Yamir 137. This is tangible proof of deep care for all forms of life. In essence, the principle of interdependence in Buddhist teaching affirms that caring for the environment is part of good karma and a spiritual responsibility. Harming nature is akin to harming the very web of life we inhabit. Therefore, mining projects in a beautiful and crucial area like Raja Ampat are seen as a serious threat to this balance and should be rejected for the common good. The mining issue in Raja Ampat has drawn strong reactions from various groups, including the Buddhist community in Indonesia. Although Buddhists are a minority in southwest Papua, their solidarity rooted in environmental concern has prompted several Buddhist organizations and figures to speak out about protecting this last paradise. They apply the outlined Buddhist principles as the foundation for their stance. One example comes from the Young Buddhist Association Indonesia, YBAI, a youth organization. Through its official accounts, YBAI expressed deep concern over the surge of mining in Raja Ampat. They emphasized that Raja Ampat is not a mining site, but home to thousands of marine species, tropical forests, and indigenous communities living in harmony with nature. This statement affirms Raja Ampat's intrinsic value as a living ecosystem that must be respected, not merely exploited land. IBAI, along with other environmental activists, also campaigned with the hashtag Osasov Raja Ampat, aligning with the teaching of compassion to protect voiceless beings, flora, fauna, and vulnerable communities. This critical stance from young Buddhists shows that the current generation feels morally responsible to speak up when nature is threatened. Beyond YBAI, support for Raja Ampat's preservation also implicitly comes from national Buddhist organizations. As mentioned, while Lubi rejected the government's offer to engage in mining activities, signaling their disapproval of environmentally damaging mining. While this rejection was general and didn't specifically name Raja Ampat, its context aligns with the Raja Ampat issue. This means that Indonesian Buddhists, institutionally, prioritize moral and environmental integrity over involvement in natural resource exploitation. This is consistent with the message of senior monks who often remind followers not to be greedy for material wealth and to always consider the long-term consequences of their actions on life's sustainability. Regionally, in Southeast Asia, similar concern is evident. Prominent Buddhist figures like the Dalai Lama and Thich Nhat Hanh internationally support environmental protection movements. For instance, the Dalai Lama stated that humanity must be responsible for the interdependence between the natural environment and living beings, emphasizing that harming the environment means destroying the very foundation of life. Although general, this statement's relevance to Raja Ampat is clear. A damaged natural area will bring suffering to all, so protecting it is an act of universal compassion. In conclusion, the Buddhist perspective on mining projects in natural areas like Raja Ampat tends to be critical and oppositional. Based on the first precept, mining violates the principle of nonviolence by harming countless living beings and the environment. Based on the second precept, the greed driving limitless exploitation of natural resources is seen as poor moral conduct. The principles of Ahimsa, metta karuna, loving kindness and compassion, and the awareness of interdependence affirm that humans should act as guardians of nature, not destroyers. According to Buddhist teachings, the value of development should not be measured solely by material profit, but by how much benefit it brings without harming other beings. If a mining project brings dukkha, suffering, to the environment and life, then the best option, according to Buddhist ethics, is to abandon it, to maintain ecological harmony and the well-being of all beings that depend on it.